And it would be right to just say we honoring our veterans and thankful for everything they do. I've had family members that have served, and I think it's a great tribute to why we're all free today. So I would say that, and appreciate everybody being here. With that, I will just say this: reviewing the game, a standard of excellence. I mean, I thought we played the most complete game, 4 full quarters on defense. There were some things that happened, but it was on to the next play. I thought our guys really worked well together. All 11, not just, hey, the front rushed well. You can't rush well if you're not covering. You can't cover well if you're not rushing. So those go hand in hand, whether it's a 4-man rush, whether you're bringing a pressure, whether you're having a simulated pressure. It doesn't matter. Rush and coverage got to work together. I thought our guys really tackled well on the perimeter with all the perimeter plays. I just say this, that it's a standard we're going to keep going, and you'll ask why hasn't it been like that? It's a process, and you keep getting better, and we haven't wavered one bit. We haven't changed a lot. I mean, the same zone coverages we were using in camp, using in other games. We're just getting better at the little things, and with that, I'll open it up to questions.
You just kind of stole my thunder, but the one thing that's noticed, things are getting complementary. You just said the relationship between pass rushing and coverage. And then Coach Myers talked a lot in a couple of weeks about how the outside guys are getting pressure because the inside guys are creating a push. The quarterback isn't able to escape up the middle or step up. So are the pieces starting to work together a little bit more in the last 6 quarters, I guess? And
well,
that simple.
I think that's a great point. I think when you're really burning the edge and you give the quarterback a step-up lane and he can still throw, I mean, it's not good. I think our guys have been concentrating and really working, Coach Lapoy and Coach Lucas, and we've been concentrating on getting pocket push, we call it, and it was evident. So now the quarterback couldn't step up, and he's a really good step-up guy and a guy that takes off. So we really limited. He did get out a little bit, but we limited the ability to step up, and that really helped our edge rush, helped the inside guys too, because when you step up and you're getting pressure, you can run into some sacks, and we did that. I think, Taven had 2 sacks. I mean, Roy got great pressure, Jihad got great pressure, Malcolm, Ham, when they were in there just getting pushed, and obviously all the guys on the edge rushed well.
Joe, obviously you guys have played really well with a little more shell and zone. Can you do that this week, or do you have to bring a guy in the box to stop a Jonathan Taylor?
Well, I think it's like anything, Mark. You got to be able to stop the run in a 2 shell because when you just constantly coming down to have single high, they're gonna pick you apart. So you gotta be able to do both. And then when you do go single high, you got to disguise it. And when you go 2, you got to disguise it and make it difficult for the quarterback to read that stuff. And I think our safeties are doing a great job. Our back end guys are doing a great job, and we just got to keep improving. By no means are we there. I mean, we just got to keep improving. We talked about it last week. It's a week-to-week league. And what I mean by that, you're only as good as your last game, and you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. So you just got to keep getting better every practice, every meeting, and every game.
You were really good for 3 quarters against Derrick Henry. How similar and different is this rushing attack versus what Tennessee's trying to do?
Well, with Tennessee, it's just basically zone left, zone right, and they're telling you what they're doing. These guys are, I mean, Taylor's is again, he's a great back. 21 flying around. They get Max, a great back. I mean, they're all really good backs. He's been a Pro Bowler. So I mean, Taylor's a guy that can take it to the house on any snap, and he's a powerful back. So we got to gang tackle. We got to get a lot of hats on the ball, and they're similar in some ways, but Tennessee's more of a stretch right, stretch left, lead right, lead left, and these guys are a little bit more downhill, double teams. They got a really good offensive line. Coach Reich's always done a great job with the play action pass off the run, so we got our hands full.
What have you liked about Smoot all along? You've always been kind of in his corner.
I think, John, he's been consistent with his effort, consistent with his play. Not only has he set edges well, but even in the games earlier in the year, he was getting consistent pressure, beating tackles, but the ball was getting out quicker. He wasn't getting his sack, whatever it might have been. But you just got to keep grinding, keep going. And we always tell those guys, you never know when your sack's going to come. So I mean, you just keep going hard, keep doing the little things right. And we move him inside at times in the Seattle game, and he beat the center. But he really played a heck of a game in terms of setting edges, running to the ball, and just doing what we've asked him to do from day one.
Can you just talk about how Rudy Ford played on Sunday and sort of what do you guys like about him in that nickel position?
He played fast, I will say that. He played fast. He's explosive. He might be our fastest guy on the team, and he's gotten better and better. I mean, Joe Dana and Coach Walton and Coach Ash have done a great job with him. He's played safety, then he moved him to nickel. He's a dime, and he's really feeling comfortable, and he played fast.
What does it do for your defense to have a guy like that who can play multiple positions?
Oh, I mean, it enables us to bring faster guys on the field in certain situations, and that's the one thing. We blitzed Rudy. He played coverage. He played man, and he's going to continue to get better.
You better be careful, or it's going to take him and make him a receiver.
Well, I don't know about that. No, he's one. I will say this: he's one of Coach's favorites because he was dominating on the special teams, and talk about creating a package when a guy dominates on the special team. And we did that for him early, and it's continued to grow because his play got better.
What do you think clicked with Taven on Sunday, getting 2 sacks?
He had opportunities that he might not have had earlier. He did what we asked him to do. He was disciplined and powerful, and he's another guy that has stayed the course. You know, it hadn't gone his way maybe for his few years here. Earlier in the year, he was playing, but you know, and then we gave Jay a shot, and I told Taven, you're going to have to come back and help us win a game. It could be next week, and nothing that he did, and obviously he grinded it out and I thought he played his best game as a Jag.
Joe, what does it say about this staff that you guys are unafraid to make some pretty significant moves when you talk about trading C.J. Henderson, playing Smoot over Caleb, taking the green dot off Miles, getting Rudy Ford more involved? You know, you're middle of the season and you guys are making some pretty big swings adjustment-wise.
Well, you know, you try to see what's not working, see what you can do to fix it, and that was some of that. And then obviously, you always try to put the best 11 on the field, personnel-wise. Sometimes you get tied in, and I've done it my years as a D-line coach. Well, he knows everything. You're comfortable with that. But just, you know, just giving guys opportunities and trying to put the best 11 on the
Are you
field.
figuring that out in practice? Like the Rudy Ford thing and some of the, are you figuring all that out in practice, or are you figuring it out in games?
Well, a little bit of both, Mark. You figure it out in practice because he's fast. He's a heat-seeking missile out there. Then when he did have the opportunities in the games, he was really doing well in that role. And then it's like, can we expand the role?
Would it be accurate to say that you can be classified as a guy who just you're going to make whatever necessary adjustments it is to get this team, the defense on the working and clicking? It doesn't matter what the adjustment is as long as you see it's working. Is that kind of define who you are?
Yeah, sure, John. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, you want to be able to make adjustments. Hey, you might have to play more zone. You might have to play more man. You're playing Derrick Henry. Okay, whatever it might be, I mean, you're going to make those adjustments. And then, getting the personnel on the field that you think will give you the best chance to win. But absolutely, our staff does a great job of that. Coach does a great job with that. And we just follow his lead on that.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate
Joe.
it, guys. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. Good luck.
Thank you.
Were you holding your breath when Trevor went down?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird play, because it was at the end of the play. I was watching Marvin catch the ball, and then all of a sudden he was down. So I didn't quite know what happened, and then it wasn't really a good replay, when I was looking at it. So yeah, you always worry about that. But fortunately, we're really comfortable with our backup with CJ. Came in to do a really nice job. Didn't know if he was going to come back or not, so felt confident and comfortable with what CJ would be able to do.
What was it about when CJ came in the game? He was able to push the ball a little bit farther down the field than when Trevor was out there. Was it just the shots that had been called throughout the game, or what the defense gave him while he was out there?
Yeah, I mean, he was able. I mean, the third down that he hit Dan on the sideline. I mean, they brought pressure. They came after us. We did a great job of picking it up. Carlos came across, picked it up clean. Probably stepped up a little too much into the. He bumped into the guard and the ball came out a little funny, but was able to put a good ball on. So he got pressure, which gave us an opportunity one-on-one with Dan, and Dan was able to win. So it's just I think we were just fortunate with the that call against that defense at the time.
How would you assess the way Carlos Hyde played for you?
Carlos is is a good solid veteran backup for us. Does a nice job running the ball. He's got to protect it. Obviously we turned it over one time. There was another time the ball was on the ground as well. So that's really the focus that I'm preaching. But we're totally confident, comfortable with what Carlos can do, and You know, if he has to be a main back, he's done it in his past. He can do it here, and you know, we're happy that we have him as well.
How are you feeling about Trevor's ankle? Is that gonna, do you change maybe how you call the plays, move him around a little bit less because of it, or?
Well, we just have to see how the week continues to progress, and then, you know, we're assessing it every day. And, you know, right now we're planning on, you know, just doing our normal stuff and just kind of see during the week if we need to pull back on some things.
Coach, given the circumstances of how Walker had to play,
Mhm.
you know, finding out right before game time and looking back on the film, did he do as good as anybody could have possibly expected?
Yeah, I mean, I was really proud of him, you know, and I mean, to get thrown in the moment that he got thrown in with, you know, very little notice. But, you know, the one thing that was really cool for him is, you know, just talking to him, he said it was one of the most prepared that he had felt, and just in terms of the game plan. And, you know, some things were simpler because they're, you know, the defense, they had just a 4-down defense. But so he was very well prepared, practiced there all week. I think that was another major factor on why, you know, that we went with Walker. And he did a good job. You know, he got stepped on one time that you know, we ended up getting pressure or sacked. And but as far as going in for your first game against the defense that we were facing, was really proud of him.
You feel like you guys are making strides on third down, especially third and long?
No. I think third down is an issue for us. You know, we've really got to. I mean, it's a major focus, and we got to continue to work on it. It all works together, as you guys know. You know, number one, it's got to be protection. That's got to happen to be able to push the ball down the field. And then after that, you got to be on time with the ball. Guys got to get open, and then when the guys get open, we got to make the throw. So all those things, we've kind of had a little bit of issue, really in every one of those areas at different times. So we've got to get that overall execution cleaned up.
Is it impossible in this league to do what you guys are trying to do, which is drive the ball without being very good on third down and without having big plays?
Absolutely. I mean, the number one thing, well, can't say it's the number one. I mean, both of those two things are really critical factors. You have to be able to convert third down, stay on the field, and to think that you're going to go 10, 12 plays against all these NFL defenses is, you know, it's hard to hang your hat on that, right? And so we need to be able to find those explosive plays, something we talk about all the time, and something that we're continuing to look for. And, you know, we're just going to continue to work in both those areas.
Is there a higher focus this week on holding on to the ball since they knock it out so well?
Yeah, I mean, just like last week, right? We talked about Buffalo's defense. They were number one, and well, now this is actually the number one team on takeaways. So they have 20 takeaways, right? They're second as far as, you know, turnover margin, but and you watch the tape. I mean, Leonard does, I mean, amazing job at tackling the football, punching it out. So all our guys are, you know, very, you know, highly aware of that. We know how ball security is going to be a major factor in the game. I think from the beginning of the season where we are, we've gotten better. But, you know, again, we turned it over last week. You can never, you know, never not talk about that emphasis on protecting the football. Every guy that has it, you know, the thrower's got to make great decisions, and then every guy that has it in his hands got to be entrusted to take care of it.
How much has Dan Arnold given you in terms of options at that position? I know we talked about it before, but his impact seems like it's high.
Yeah, it is, and we're continuing to try to find ways to get him involved, and we just, you know, we got to continue to evolve in that area and find ways to move him around, get balls to him. But again, you know, if there's one ball and I still got to get it to, you know, to Two Live, got to get it to Ag, got to get it to Marv, you know, got to turn around and hand it to James. But we want all those guys involved because I think those are the guys that'll make plays for us.
How do you sort of manufacture that downfield passing? I mean, when guys might not be getting open or the throws might not be getting there, how do you as a play caller sort of get that a little bit more open?
Yeah, you know, I think it's just kind of go back to like the third down deal, right? Where number one, you know, you got to have the protection. So there was a couple shots we took down the field, and you know, we didn't have the protection. Then there was a couple of times where we got open down the field, you know, and we didn't make the throw, like the double move to Marv late in the game. You know, the guys open, there's some pressure, but you know, you got to find a way to get him the ball. So just some things like that. We got to just work on that execution, and they're there. And there's being called. One of the things we tell the quarterback is, you know, a shot called is not a shot taken, right? So sometimes if it's not there as well, then you need to bring it down and check it down so the defense can sometimes dictate whether you take the shot or not. But all that works together, and we got to find ways to keep looking for them.
as much as you were excited for the win on Sunday, as an offensive coordinator, seeing a low-scoring game like that kind of got to eat at you a little bit, right?
Well, win's a win. I mean, these dang things are hard to come by in this league, you know. And 9 points is definitely not what we're looking for. But we did play a complimentary game. The defense, did outstanding. We held the ball long enough, and we're fortunate enough to get the 3 field goals. But we're moving it. I think 5 of the first 6 drives we were in scoring range opportunity, whether it was field goal. One of them is a turnover on the 20-yard line. So we're getting down there. We just got to finish. We got to finish all those drives. If we turn in 3 of those, change 3 of those to touchdowns and 3 of those to field goals, then we would like the result at the end. But we haven't done that yet, so that's what we're continuing to work for.
The way Trevor handled that injury, does that tell you something about him? I mean, he went down, went in the locker room, comes out, and him and Urban both talked about how Urban had to kind of pull him back because he wanted to go right back into the game. Does that kind of tell you something about a young quarterback that wants to get back out there?
Yeah, I loved it, right? I love that you had that mentality that you want to be out there for your team, you want to lead your team. Once you figured out he was okay, and he was chomping at the bit. There was a couple plays before. It's like, get back over here. We got to make that decision first, and and it's in the middle of a drive too. And CJ had made a couple big plays, so. But yeah, I was happy that he was willing to do that.
Who tells you he's going back in the game?
That's the head coach's call. First the trainers, doctors, trainers got to say he's okay, and then the head coach will says throw him in.
To you or?
I'm on the headset the whole time with him, so I heard the conversation. Yes.
And you don't normally make a switch like that in the middle of a drive.
Yeah, not a lot of times, but he was dying to get back out there. So
The ability to not make a mistake at games. He didn't have great numbers, Trevor, but he also got you through at the end. Is that growth?
Yeah, as far as protecting the ball, that's something that's really from game one that we've been harping at, because I think early in the season he had double-digit turnovers at the beginning of the year. So we're cleaning that up. He's getting better every game he goes out there, and there's just so much stuff that happens and so much stuff to learn, and I think he's doing a really nice job with it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, have a good day.
Thanks for your honesty.